Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well today. Welcome to the Distinguished Gentleman channel. I'm your host, Gabriel, and today we're going to be discussing the differences between branding, marketing, and advertising. Before I get into this, I'd like to ask you, the viewer, can you define branding, marketing, and advertising? Can you define them as three distinctive pieces? Or when you define them, will you end up confusing them together and conflating them? So if you want to try right now, pause this video. Don't go on Google, don't go on your phone. Get a notebook and pen out. Write down branding, put the definition. Write down marketing, put the definition. And write down advertising and put the definition. And I think that if you do this challenge, you'll see how difficult it is to do that, because oftentimes these definitions get confused together very easily. So to start this video, I Googled the definition for branding, marketing, and advertising, and I'd like to show you the Google definition of these words. So, branding, impressing a mark with a hot iron, promotion of a particular product or company by means of advertising and design. So we can already see the word advertising was used in the definition of branding. Okay. Marketing, activity or business of promoting or selling products or services, including market research and advertising. So in this definition, we use the word market to define marketing, and we use the word advertising again in the definition of marketing. So now you can see so far from our Google search, branding and marketing both use the word advertising. Okay, that's not great. Okay, advertising. Activity or profession of producing advertisements for commercial products or services. Once again, we're getting a circular definition. We're using the word advertisement in the word advertising. So I don't really like this. If you're anything like me, you're going to read these definitions and you're going to feel conflated. You know, it's going to feel like everything is mixed together, amalgamated into one when it shouldn't be. It's going to cause confusion, and you're going to be stuck in a state of aporia. Meaning a state of puzzlement. You're not going to know what's what. So right now, we're stuck. Branding, marketing, and advertising, it just sounds like the same word over and over again to us. And if you own a business or if you work for a business, you need to know the difference, because there is distinctives. So I'm giving you a problem. I'm an entrepreneur. It's my duty now to solve that problem. So here's the solution. My solution is etymology. Etymology is the study of the origin of words. Etymology is history. So if we look into the past, we can find the truth. Bear with me while I turn this board over here. Okay. So, branding. Let's look at the etymology of the word. In Old Norse, brander, B-R-A-N-D-R, means fire or torch. In Old English, brand means to burn. Okay, so it means to burn a mark with a hot iron. So farmers, herders, when they had livestock, you know, they had a bunch of cattle, they would heat up a hot iron and brand the skin of the animal so that they would have their own personal logo. If that cow, bull wandered off, and another farmer found this animal, they would know, oh, okay, I know that brand, it goes back to this farmer, and they could return the lost property to the owner of that property. So it was a literal mark. Okay. Now how did it evolve? A brand evolved from a literal mark to a metaphorical mark. Okay, so your brand is your mark, your indelible mark. It's your identity, and it's the public's recognition of your identity. Okay, very good. Marketing comes from a Latin word, mercatus, okay? Meaning marketplace, trade, or commerce. In Old French, marché, meaning market, place of trade, okay? So, marketing, originally bringing goods and services to a literal marketplace, all right, a physical location. So, you know, back in the day when they would have a marketplace, you'd have the smiths were blacksmiths, and they'd bring their maybe they would make swords, maybe they would make horseshoes for a horse, maybe they would make nails, whatever metal items you needed. You'd have a family that was bakers. They would make bread, they would make cakes, whatever. You'd have a family that made cheese, a family that cured meat. all these people would gather and they'd go out and mingle with one another in the marketplace, and they would literally bring their goods and services to the market, to other people. So marketing in the olden days was a physical location where goods and services were traded or sold. Okay, how did it evolve? It evolved in strategy of connecting supply with demand. So it's still bringing goods to the marketplace. It's just that now that we have the internet, a marketplace doesn't have to be a physical location. I've heard it intelligently worded before that the world went from brick and mortar to click and order. So that just goes to show you how the marketplace went from a physical location to now, with the internet, the marketplace is everywhere. All right, advertising. Latin, advertere, to turn toward, advertere, to turn attention towards. So in the Middle Ages, they would have town criers, and these people would loudly announce goods for sale at public events, and they would get attention. They would turn people toward a certain goods or service. They were known as town criers. Then in the 15th century, we had the invention of the printing press. And the printing press, now we had leaflets, posters, newspapers, we had print. But still, the point of the print was to turn your head towards it, to turn attention towards it, to goods and services. Now, fast forward to today, TV, social media, radio, newspaper, billboards, and it goes on and on and on. I mean, you can see an advertisement on a bus when it drives by. I mean, there's advertising everywhere around us all the time. Okay, so branding. Who? Who are you? Who is your organization? What are your values? What are your principles? What do you identify as? Who? Marketing. Where? Where do you and your customers meet? It doesn't have to be a physical location. It could be a meeting online. It's just, where do you find your target audience, and where do they find you? Where can you meet to trade goods and services? Advertising. How? How do you get their attention? How do you stand out amongst the tons of other competitors that happen to be in your niche? So we have brand as your identity. Market is contact. Where do you meet your target audience? Where do you contact your target audience? And advertising is attention. So your brand, identity, market, contact, advertising, attention. And I did this in this order for a reason. Brand is first. Brand is number one. Marketing is number two. Advertising is number three. That's the hierarchy. That's the order of importance. You can't advertise if you're not marketing. You can't market if you don't have a brand. You have to have a brand, an identity, an organization. You have to have what you do clearly. Then you have to have the people you serve, your target audience. Who do you serve? And then how do you get their attention? So that is branding, marketing, and advertising. It's clear, cut, and dry. You can see there's clear distinctions between my definitions. We're not just going to conflate all these terms into one big confusing mess that'll put you into a state of aporia. Well, if you found this video valuable today, if you think that you have friends that are entrepreneurs or desire to be entrepreneurs, or they're intrapreneurs, meaning they work for another business, but they're up in the company working on marketing or branding or advertising, if you think this video will be valuable to anybody, I ask kindly that you share it with them, help them along through their marketing, branding, and advertising process. And if you found value, please like this video and subscribe and share with your friends. Once again, thank you for visiting The Distinguished Gentleman. I'm your host, Gabriel Haas, and as always, gentlemen, stay distinguished.